Hi. Oh, hello, everyone. Welcome to the afternoon break. Thank you for joining me, whether you're watching this now or later. Um, I thought since it's not dark and uh, it might be nice just to try it in the afternoon for the rest of the spring and the summer, and let's just see how that rolls. Thank you for submitting your questions. I look forward to getting through those today. We've got lots and some really good ones. Well, they're always good, um, but ones I think will benefit all of you, as always. So, my name is Betsy Grady. We are working with the Akashic Records today. I'm going to read the Akashic Prayer, and then I will get a message from the guides that's general for all of us that they want to communicate today, and then we will jump into the questions. And just a little side note, when I say guides, I'm using that term in general, as in spirit guides. I'm also talking about guides, ascended masters from the universe, those that are um, working with the Akashic records, those that, and it really could be anybody that wants to come through and reveal information. Um, and in a visual session, you never know who's going to come through. Someone deceased loved ones. I've had celebrities come through sometimes. And so it's wide open. But in this session, I'm going to refer to the guides. And that's pretty much anyone in this unseen world that wants to bring a message forth. Okay. Now, I always recommend, if it feels good to you, close your eyes, let yourself relax while I read the prayer, and just see if there's something you're thinking about. Maybe there's a little nudge of something you wish you would have maybe typed in to ask. And just put that out there. And just in your mind, your guides are hearing, and they're probably going to answer it today anyway, whether you got a question in or not. So, and I will tell you when you to open your eyes and we're ready to jump in. Hi, everyone. Okay. I love people chiming in here. I'm so glad to see you in the afternoon. Okay. I ask God if He will have His shield of love and truth around you permanently, so only God's love and truth will exist between you and me. I allow the masters, teachers, and loved ones of you to channel through me out of whatever realm to say whatever they wish. I ask the permission of the Lords of the Akashic Records so I'm able to look into the records of you and remove whatever information I'm allowed. Okay, give me 1 second here. Okay. Okay. So we're going to do a general message from the guides, and this is something that they want to say to everyone. Okay, you are all highly intuitive beings, every one of you. And as a matter of fact, everyone on the planet has intuition. And most people, you'll hear a lot of people say, oh, I'm not very creative, or I'm not intuitive at all. Yet that's just a story they've been telling themselves for whatever reason. Bottom line is, everybody has intuition. Those of you joining and watching this program, they want to tell you have highly developed intuition. And they said part of your interest in this kind of psychic realm, the spiritual realm, is an indicator of that. And not because you're just here on this show, but it is because you have an interest in these things. And often that's an indicator that you two are connected and you have abilities to connect. And they want to kind of reassure you that, and maybe even introduce you to that understanding for yourself. One of the things they're saying in regards to intuition is people with highly developed intuition have lots of ideas. And so, and that I'm sure is true for many of you, where ideas just drop in, drop in, drop in. It's almost like, oh my gosh, I can get so stuck on what direction to go because of all the different ideas I have. So, one of the things they want you to know is all of these ideas that you're having, you may not get to see play out this lifetime, you know, yet you are putting deposits in the next lifetime. So just remember that it's not for naught that you're having all these ideas. Your soul is magnificent and extraordinary, and yes, we're living this one life. And and a lot of people, you'll read, suggest we're living parallel lives at the same time. And I do believe that is true also. And that has come through in sessions, where it's been a real experience for a couple of people. And we've connected with one of their lives in a different part of the world. It's just been fascinating. And so, anyway, some of these ideas that are coming through are related to lives that you will be living. They are related to other parallel lives. So just be open to that concept and try not to get attached to, I didn't get this done, or I didn't see that through, or I didn't follow that one through, because there's just going to be more. There's going to be more. And it may not be this lifetime. It may be another lifetime, or it might be late in life. So really try and let go of the expectations and attachments around that kind of stuff. And in addition, they said, when you have committed to something, and this is really what they want to say, your intuition has come up with an idea, it's led you somewhere, whether it was an impulse or not, and say you've committed to it, you're going to do it. And your guides want you to know to push through any resistance, reluctance, hesitation in moving forward. Sometimes it feels heavy to move forward. Sometimes it feels uncertain. And sometimes our insecurities come up because we're thinking, what was I thinking when I committed to this? You weren't thinking. That's the point. It was your intuition making that decision, and you were in the flow. And so the point is to stay in the flow and trust in that and move forward. Let yourself honor that commitment, and let yourself trust your intuition, and know that that's part of your connection to your higher self, your connection to your guides. It's your connection to think of this too, this realm in spirit. There are so many beings there that want to participate in your life, and those ideas are just out there. And they're, think of those that were very creative here, like maybe Picasso or Einstein or Mark Twain, any of that, Jimmy Buffett. It's, think of them, they're still creating in spirit, and they're creating stuff that they're hoping you might catch on to. And so, and then put your own spin on it. So that co-creative process that we have here on the planet with one another does not stop when someone's in spirit. As a matter of fact, it expands. So just don't be surprised at ideas you come up with. Where did that come from? Who cares? Just trust your intuition. And the most important thing is to keep moving forward and know that you're following your intuition. It can't lead you wrong. Okay. What leads you wrong is when you have resistance to it and you question it and you get in your head and start backpedaling. So go through that fear, go through that resistance, bust through those insecurities, and know you're being guided on some level, internally, spiritually, uh, however you want to call it, but just trust it, trust it, trust it, and really begin to think of yourself as intuitive, and catch yourself in your thoughts or in your phrases. If you say, I'm not very intuitive, just whoops, back up, delete. I am learning how intuitive I am. Be easy about it, but just change your language around it a little bit and just start trusting that you are. That's one thing they want to communicate today. One thing that I'm hearing is a message that they would send to all today is keep moving forward. Keep moving forward, keep moving forward. If there are things in your past that you're meant to revisit, that will become clear and obvious. You will circle back around to them at some point, but it will be in a forward motion, if that makes sense. Kind of sounds backwards there. But if there's anything in your past you're thinking about revisiting, they said just keep moving forward. And if it's meant to be, it's going to show up on your forward path. And you'll think, wow, I was just thinking about that. Or I've really been wondering if I should reconnect with this person or this thing, or should this dream that I had way back when. It'll reappear if it's meant to. This is where you don't have to have effort. Your guides are listening. They're dropping these ideas in your head anyway. And you have to trust those impulses and those actions, but keep moving forward is what I'm hearing to share. So, hi, everyone. Thank you for coming. Okay, I am going to hop to my questions. Let's see here. Okay. Okay, let me get here. And some of y'all submitted them early, so I always try and go in the order I receive them. Okay. All right, here's a question. In July, my husband and I will have been together 14 years. There have been a lot of ups and downs. Things don't seem to be going anywhere with us, and I'm trying to figure out if this relationship I need to continue giving so much patience to, or if I need to just let it go. I have talked with my guides, but I'm unsure if my own ego is getting in the way. We have 2 kids, and this really makes it difficult for me to make a decision on this. That's always a big decision. And relationships certainly are I always say we're working 3 things here. Most people want to know about relationships, health, and wealth. And some of us are working 1, some of us are working 2, some of us working all 3 of those things, but they are the big stuff here on the planet. So for your question, with your husband, 14 years and your 2 children, I am hearing divorce is not the answer. And if it is the answer, at some point it would be really clear. But I'm not hearing it is the answer. Give me 1 second here. Am I saying it's never going to happen? No. Could it happen, 20 years from now? Maybe, 15 years from now? Maybe. Yet it doesn't feel like it is the answer right now. And one of the things that I am hearing is for you to make this a personal journey for yourself. And where are you finding joy? How are you cultivating joy? And can you take pressure off the relationship to be something that it's not right now for you? And your idea of what you want that to look like or what you think it should be, can you take that idea and put it on a shelf for now, and then really look at your life? And I'm here in this situation. The guides have led me here for some reason. I trusted my intuition to get here, or whatever got you there. You have 2 lovely children, and they would like for you to look at where you are now as if you've got all the ingredients to make something, and it's up to you to what you want to make. So and this is for you, for your life. What kind of mother do you want to be? What kind of things do you want to demonstrate, to your children? And at the same time, it's like cultivating your own joy independent of the relationship, and letting that joy be what you share and radiate with the children. And when you do that, when you start to find a way to find your own happiness, create your own happiness independent of this other person, then things begin to shift. When you are looking at what you don't have, maybe in the relationship, you get more of that. When you start looking at what you're creating and you're finding a little bit more joy and a little bit more joy, then you get more of that. And in that, the relationship starts to change. It can't not morph into something better, if that makes sense. So They would like for you to make this a very personal time for you, a personal journey. Decide what and how you want to be here. What do you want to be doing with your life, in addition to being a mother to two awesome children? They would have you also understand that relationships is where we do our deepest work. And when we're in a relationship that is not what we want it to be, or maybe even there's a lot of struggle in that relationship, they want you to look in the mirror and address the things you're seeing. So, whatever you might be dissatisfied with in your partner, you have to realize those things are within you too. So, it may not be showing up in the same way, but it's there. So, say, for example, if you think your partner lacks confidence, or he's unmotivated, or he's insecure in some way, whatever adjective you use to describe, then you have to realize that's in you too. You might not be insecure in the same way he is, but there's insecurities in there. And so address your own insecurities. It might be in something totally different, uh, yet it's in there. And as you use this relationship to address those things within you one by one, and they release, what happens is your partner no longer needs to hold that mirror up to you. And so those things go away. You quit seeing them in that person, or they find something in their life changes that they show up differently. It's really remarkable how that works. So it just feels important for you to give that some more time, give that new thought, and uh, take advantage of where you are, if anything. So, great question. I'm so glad you asked that. So many of us can use that. Okay. Hi, Betsy. I have been wanting to move out of Pennsylvania for a long time, but not sure what direction to go. Can you tell me what state I should look at? And will my sister in Virginia be with me, or a new boyfriend? I know that there are lots of questions. If you can answer even one, I'd be happy. Thanks so much. Okay. Pennsylvania for a long time. What direction? Okay, let's see here. Hmm. Interesting. Give me a second here. It's so funny. They are showing me two locations. So, and they're very different. But I feel like you're going to make a decision between Colorado and North Carolina. I don't know why both of those. If I had to say, I think you're going to settle in North Carolina. So you might just have a little detour. But it feels like North Carolina has open arms for you. Does feel like your sister in Virginia um, would be much more, and that may be why, would be open to coming to North Carolina as opposed to Colorado. So I feel like a new boyfriend will be there shortly after moving. And when I say shortly, I don't mean like within a week or two. I would say less than a year, though, and maybe even less than 6 months. But it feels like there's something there in North Carolina calling you. It has open arms. I don't know if it's, a big city like, Charlotte or the Triad area, or is it closer to the water like Wilmington, which is a really awesome place too, or is it in the mountains like Asheville? But it just feels like Carolina has more to offer than you might imagine. And your sister would be very interested in that. Okay, hopefully that is helpful to you. I would be looking though. Okay, Okay, so Betsy, so far I've been lucky with overall symptoms from the cancer treatments. Will this continue for the second half of the treatments? The few I've had have me anxiously awaiting for the bottom to fall out. Do the guys and my angels have thoughts? Okay. Well, they are telling me, uh, I don't really see the bottom falling out. And they are saying part of your experience right now is your attitude and is the love of life that you have. And it is the love of outdoors that you have, the love of animals that you have, the love of all the people around you that you have. And also, they just said you got a pretty good attitude about all of this and it is supporting you. And so when you have those anxious thoughts, they want you to just stop and say, wait, that's just old fear stuff. And that's just worry in my head. And remember, worry creates things we don't want to happen. And so when you find yourself in that place, they said to remind yourself that right here and now, you haven't had many symptoms. And that's going to continue. That's the pattern. That pattern's been established. And remind yourself that's the pattern. That's the pattern. And I'm worried about something that hasn't even happened. And it's probably not even going to happen because the pattern's already been set. And that's what I'm here to tell you. They are so proud of you for this journey that you're on and the attitude that you're keeping and your investment in yourself, in your life, and all that you have going on. Thank you for asking that. Okay. Hi, Betsy. I love watching you from Australia. When you access your Akashic records, do they show you all your future and when you're going to leave this earth? I don't know what you're actually allowed to see. Thank you. That's a great question. So when we open the Akashic records, one thing, and any practitioner or facilitator of this work will tell you, we are only allowed to see whatever we're allowed to see. And so we're not in charge of the information that's coming through. And so your individual spirit guides will come in a reading, and we ask them those questions. Like I could clearly ask, do you have a timeline for this person? Like how long they're going to live? At what year do you think they'll make their transition? Or can they tell me that? And sometimes it gets answered, sometimes it does not. And again, we don't have control over that information. Is it out there? Sure. Yet I will say this. I have seen timelines slide around even with someone's transition. For whatever reason. So I would say that's part of free will. Some exits of the planet are certainly planned because they're part of a soul contract. They're part of a journey for those left behind. But some looking, ahead in the future. I used to say a long time ago, like, I want to live here till I'm 86. Well, now I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm living way longer than that. I want to live here way longer than that. And man, if I could get into my hundreds, I think that would just be so awesome. And so, I hope I've somewhere or another pushed my timeline around. But I don't know. I have not asked that question for myself personally. Yet we can ask. It's in there. All of that information's in there. If you have a set timeline and it is part of your soul's plan, then they may share it. One of the things I would tell you though, questions in the Akashic records, what is preferred from those in the spirit world is that you ask, how would this information serve you? How would knowing this serve you? And if you could say, it would really help me to know if my transition is at this time, I would do 1,000 of these things. They may tell you, but it's more to be clear on how would knowing this information serve you. And that's often a question I get to ask before they will respond. So think about that too, as you think about questions you want to know from the records for you personally. It is how would they serve you? How would it serve you knowing that answer? So think about that too as you come up with those questions. As far as all of your future, so I'll tell you this too. Some things we have really written out in our future. They are that fate and destiny stuff we have clearly in our timelines. And then there are other things that we put out there, like options that we might put out there for ourselves, that when we reach this point, if we haven't done this, we might make a decision here. I don't know if this is confusing or not yet. The future is out there in the records, absolutely, as well as all the options for the future of the different choices you might make are out there. That's the best way to answer that. So, yeah, it's all in there. It is all in there. So, and it's really fun to look at. What I think is really neat is sometimes we'll see things in the future for someone that you can't see for yourself. And yet, just knowing that it's out there, it's almost like it plants that little seed of belief. And then it's easier to move towards it and actually, see it manifest and come into your experience. So, um, I love looking at future stuff in the Akashic records. I'm so glad you asked that question. Okay. Okay. I don't think I can read this whole question. Let's see. Thank you all. Okay. Uh, I have two adopted cats that are now 7 years old. I adopted them together when they were both 6 months old. They're not brothers, but they've always snuggled and groomed each other like they were. Long story short, one of them had a health issue, can't hear, and gets spooked by the other one sometimes, just by accident, even just jumping on the bed. And they start fighting, screaming. It's like really going for the jugular on both of them. I've done anxiety medication, flower essences, every calming product you can imagine. Nothing's worked. Okay, let's see here. Well, I'm a kitty person. I sure know how that goes. It's so disheartening. But let's see what your guides have to say around these two babies here. Hmm. Well, so what it looks like, it doesn't look like there's anything you can do. For some reason, this is happening on purpose, and I'm not sure why, but it does look like keeping them separated is important. I know that's hard. Might be the one that has the hearing issue, the hearing loss. They're just showing both of them sweet, happy cats. They really are. It's just those moments. Um, feels like you're just going to have to manage it in the sense that either that one is kept in its own room, um, to not get any of the surprising and disturbing moments, even though they're unintentional. I know. One of the things they're saying, it's almost like if you show the one with the hearing loss, bring the other one up to him, um, let him see that he's there, it will soften something, like he already knows he's around. I don't know if you've tried that or not, but it does look like you're going to have to be involved and a little bit more hands-on. Cats are generally so easy, with that, which makes them wonderful companions in the house because you don't have to manage them so much, but looks like you do in this case. Um, Give me 1 second here. I'm just seeing if there's something you're supposed to be learning from this. You know, it is important to remember too, animals are in our lives for a reason besides being our animal companions. They choose to journey with us and they come in on a soul level also. And relationships with animals are huge and they are an extension of your energy, so they will often reflect back what's going on. And so you might ask yourself, is this a part of my experience because uh, I have been attacked unknowingly and I need to be more aware. I need to not tune out what's really going on around me and I need to pay more attention. That is one thing. Like, is there something that I've been deaf to? Is there something that I refuse to hear or listen to? Could be an inner voice, could be, I'm not sure. But is there a way I've turned my own senses down and that I need to really look at and turn back on in some way? Is there a way for me to be more aware of my surroundings? And so I do see what's coming. And if you've been surprised recently or felt attacked recently, I would say they're reflecting that to you. And maybe some of your work needs to be in life: where can I be more discerning of people I'm letting in or stories I'm being told? So think about that, because I feel like from what they're saying, this is not just about them and one having hearing loss and one being surprised. This is much bigger. And they would have you look at that from a spiritual level, that higher perspective. And, the universe speaks to us in metaphors, and it will use any and everything around to bring us messages. And so it looks like your cats are being used right now for that. And so they would have you do some reflection. Now, it could be you, could be who else is living in the house that needs to answer those questions. But that's what your guides would have you do next. You might find that once you get the answers to those questions after that reflection, that stops. So that's so interesting. And I would say that's why the anxiety medicine, the flower essence, they haven't worked. So it's remember, they're also requiring you to be more present and aware of the environment that they're existing in, which means your guides are using that to bring you more present and aware of your environment. And that could mean outside of the home too, but it means coming really present and what's going on in your life. And what do you need to be aware of? What do you need to be paying attention to? What do you need to be discerning about? So it's really fantastic. But I would say your guides are using your kitties to bring that message. And as soon as you really get that message, you'll see a change there. Isn't that so cool? Okay. Okay, here's one. All right. Hi, Betsy. My landlords want to sell my house and I have the option to buy it. I was thinking about buying it and then renting it out on the long run. My mom's house is also another option. She recently got married and is living with her husband, so her house is empty. Should I buy my house? Should I move out? Should my kids and I stay in this town so they can graduate from here? Or should we go live in my mom's house an hour away and then go to school there? Okay, really appreciate any advice. I'm struggling with what to do. Okay. That's a big question. I get why that would be a concern. All right. So if I just answered that straight out, I'm hearing by your mom's house. I don't know why. Um, I don't know if it's a better deal for you. I don't know. I feel like it will be a better deal for you for some reason. It feels like it would be easier, and it feels like you're being guided to be in a slightly different place. Change your path up a little bit, change the scenery and the landscape. It looks like even it's. I know it's hard for kids to move and change schools, yet it still feels like part of their journey. Um, So I would say be open to your mom's house as a different opportunity for you, something new to move forward to. Um, this, I know the guide said in the beginning, and they're telling me to address this, that to not go backwards does not feel like you're going backwards. It feels like going to your mom's house. I don't know if you've lived there or not before, but it just feels like going forward, moving forward. Um, Hang on here. I am just hearing that there's more planned for you there. If you stay where you are, you'll be fine there too. It just feels like a little bit of a detour to things that could come to your life quicker, if that makes sense. So I feel like that's pretty clear. Consider your mom's house. And again, you know what? You cannot make a wrong decision. You can just delay things from unfolding. Detours, we call them, but you can't make a wrong decision. If you decide to stay where you are and buy the house you're in, your guides are going to work with that. They're extraordinary magicians, and they still know what your soul wants to experience, and they will find a way to get you there. Just might take a little longer. So, all right. Thanks for asking that. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, here's another moving one. I'm concerned about moving this summer, if it's even possible. Everything's very expensive. My part time job is not making a lot of money for me at the moment. I'm just not seeing a door open for it yet. And I have to let my landlord know by the end of May. Uh, Honestly, even if I stay where I am for another year, finances and debt are high. I don't know what to do. I've reached out to every resource in person I can think of. So my question is, do the guys still see me moving this summer? Has anything got messed up or changed? Okay, let's see. Well, they're telling me that there's one of the patterns within you is things come down to the wire, and it always feels anxious and intense. They said that feeling and emotion seems to perpetuate some of the situations you're in, and so the antidote to anxiety, worry, things like that is about trusting in the process, trusting where you are. Now, I know at the same time, you have to be practical. You have children, you have to make big decisions. And so, right now, for you, the path of least resistance is to not move because it costs money to move. And that just feels so big. And so, it does look like it may not be this summer after all. Next summer is what I would look at. But again, this is where timelines slide around. Have things messed up and changed? I wouldn't say they've messed up and changed. I would say there's something keeping you where you are more. So could there be the guides have finagled some new gifts to come in where you are? Sure. And so it's about staying where you are, saving the money for moving, and uh, continue to look forward of where you want to go and be putting things in place to support you when you do move. So you are right. It doesn't look like the doors to open or doors to move are opening. So uh, that is a sign, I would say, to stay where you are, renew your lease, just be easy about it, let that worry go, and just, you know what? It's not this summer, and that's okay. And that means something else is being planned for you where you are, and the guides have something in store. So this when our plans change like that, the way I approached that was, okay, well, that wasn't meant to be because staying here, I meant to get something else. Like, you have to realize this is a very giving universe. It's expansive, it's abundant, and it is giving. And when you can look at, I'm prevented from moving into that town, so I'm meant to stay here. I wonder what I'm going to get. I wonder what gifts are going to come to me. If you could train yourself to get into that mindset, um, it could be really, it could take the edge off and it could take some of that worry off. But I would say, yeah, it's been put off another summer. Could be, I don't know why or what, but just feels like be easy about it now. Take the worry off your plate and stay where you are, and trust that you're meant to be there a little bit longer. And that, I would say, is because something uh, is coming your way that you'll be glad you stayed. I do feel like you're being supported, and you'll realize that support when you make the decision to stay and extend your lease there. Okay. Okay, here we go. There's a celebration of life this weekend for my friend who passed a couple of months ago. I'm apprehensive about going, and I'm not exactly sure why. It will be a huge party. Do my guides and my friend have any advice about this? I don't want to regret not going. I am so glad you asked this question. And I just had this conversation earlier with someone. It's we have this idea, that we want to move forward, but there's uncertainty, et cetera, et cetera. So for you, really clear, you have an event to go to, and you don't have to go yet. You have the option of going. So if you imagine yourself going and all that feels like, and then you getting home from that, how do you feel after you've attended that event? And then you imagine yourself not going to the event, and the event's going on and you're not there. And when the event's over and you're sitting there, how do you feel? And I will tell you this, from what I'm seeing, you will regret not going. And that feeling of anxiousness and worry while you're not attending feels stronger, and the regret after feels stronger. The feeling of moving towards the event, going, being open, feels so much positive, more positive, feels brighter. One of the things that I'm hearing to tell you that's so special is that you get to see so much love for this person, and how other people love this person and adored this person. And that's really going to make your heart swell. Is what they're saying, that you would really appreciate that. And you would appreciate seeing other sides to this person and other things that you may have not known. I would say look at it as a time of discovery and exploration and depth. Um, Getting to know this person even more in their passing, but in their celebration. So, and I think the other thing that I'm hearing to tell you is you will feel his presence a lot more in that environment for some reason. You will really see some unique things. So, yeah, definitely go, if that makes sense. Okay. I love these questions, you guys. Okay. All right. I have a big question. Okay, let me see here. Here's the big cue from my spirit teams. What should or must I do now with regards to my mental health and wellness? And like many, I succumbed to overindulging beyond the norm. And I'd like an honest response to the toll alcohol has taken on my body and mind. On the positive, again, this is the cutoff day and it's beauty month. So I wish to know with regards to either psycho-spiritual or medical approach to take. Okay. Let's see what they have to say. Okay. With alcohol, what I'm hearing first that they want to answer is they are telling me to tell you they want you to look at it this way with you and your relationship to alcohol. They said that it is serving you in a way that it is uh, denial and avoidance. And ultimately, though, it is a place they would call your self abandoning when with the alcohol. And you're robbing yourself of the opportunities of being clear and present in this moment in your life, in your journey, and what you're here to do and create. So they said their relationship with alcohol, it's just been a willing partner to support you in keeping you from your biggest, brightest self, if that makes sense. And so the psycho approach, they would have you look at the Alan Carr method, or anyone who's worked with that method. Um, you could look at the naked mind. You could look at, there's a great book called Alcohol is Shit. And he's even got a podcast called Recovery Elevator you could look at. But it does look like the mindset is the psycho approach is what would be most valuable to you. And realize you can have gratitude for alcohol for keeping you where you wanted to be on the path thus far, and realizing that um, you're here to still create and do some bright, beautiful things and have a bright life and be clear and present with that. And it is time for, alcohol to go. What has it done to your body? I am hearing that it has aged your body a little bit more than you probably would like, yet it's not anything that can't be undone. And, it takes, looks like 12 days for alcohol to leave your body, and you will start to see a big difference in your skin and how you feel then. Mhm. So they said, be curious about this journey, be excited about this journey, really watch what you see happening, um, especially in the next 2 weeks. So, but I'm not hearing it's done anything to the body that can't be repaired and set back, if that makes sense, to its optimal state or normal state. So hopefully that is helpful to you. Okay. All right. I have a couple minutes here. I'm going to look. Uh, could you ask my guides what is the healthiest diet for me? Okay. Let's see. What's the healthiest diet for you? Okay. Well, they love the Mediterranean diet for you. They are just showing. I don't know if you like olives, but I'm definitely seeing olives for some reason. So I would certainly bring olives into your experience, but look at the Mediterranean diet. Um, they said they're not going to tell you to go completely carb free, but to be aware and to source out healthy carbs, if that makes sense to you. Here. But it does look like carbs. Yeah, they want you to source out healthy carbs. The Mediterranean diet, they said they would lean towards the most, that you would really appreciate that and see and feel a difference. They are also showing, for some reason, a sorbet, like as a answer to a sweet tooth, I guess, but they're showing a sorbet, just refreshing sorbet you would really appreciate, especially for the summer. And so they're asking you to consider this diet for the summer only, rest of the spring and summer. And then you'll change that up a little bit in the fall, winter. So interesting. So have fun grocery shopping. Um, Let me see if there's anything else they would add to that. Nope, not right now. Mm-mm. Okay. All right. What else do we have here? Starting a new life. Let me go put my glasses on it. I am starting a new life. I'm no longer elderly parent caregiver. My wife passed. So I'm like a kid who graduated high school. Don't know what to do. Wow. Okay. Well, they said to use this time to do a lot of reflection and to really feel like that kid graduating high school, and what do you want to do next, and you are thinking about how do you want to be here, and really, are there classes you want to take? Is there something you want to study? It's not too late, even though it might feel like it. They really do like that you honed in on, I feel like, a kid graduating from high school, and the world's in front of you and there's so many opportunities, and they want you to really embody that, and like you are getting a do-over somewhat. So do you want to go to school? Is there something you want to study? Is there a different place you want to live? um, it just feels like, hang on, you're meant to really, I would say, take the rest of this year with your ideas, your reflections, your desires. They're telling me by October you will know and it will be clear. You will already be moving towards something then, but they're saying in October it will be really clear for you. And they said to give yourself permission to think bigger for yourself and to trust your intuition, like we said in the very beginning of this session, and trust your intuitive mind to lead you and guide you. And when you get in your head about things, it's kind of like you stop the flow. So they want you to be in that intuitive space and give yourself permission to realize you can have a different life. And that it's time. It's time. It's a gift you're being given, that not a lot of people get at this time, at your age. So um, I don't know if North Carolina is calling you too. But think about it. Think about where you want to live. And I would say there's a possible move in your future. Thank you for joining in and sending that question. All right, you guys. This has been wonderful. I love this little afternoon break. Remember, I'll do this every Thursday through the month of May. So we'll be here next week. I think it's May 9th. And if you have questions you want to send in, send them to my email address, betsey@betsygrady.com. And that way I have them and I always read those first. And then if we have time, we'll do some of these that are coming in live. I love that too. And I just thank you so much for participating and being open to these messages. And yeah, thank you for letting me share this work. All right. See ya.